Our next step, once we've got all our sounds in and our music that we want, we're going to look at some editing to make it sound nice and clean and a bit more full of depth as well. I'm going to start off by looking at the narration track. So we're going to solo that by hitting the faders and then the headphones. And when we play back, all we'll hear is the narration. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. So we've got a nice clean sound. It sounds a bit dry just because of the environment that it was recorded in. So I think the best thing to do would be to add something called reverb, which makes it sound like it's been recorded in a bigger space. And the reverb you can find down at the bottom, and you slide it along to increase the amount of reverb you want. So let's have a listen and see what it sounds like. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. So I think in this instance we don't want a huge amount of reverb, just to kind of warm it up a little bit. We can also add something called echo, and again it's a slider at the bottom. Let's have a listen to that. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. So for the purposes of this, because we want to clearly hear the narrator, we maybe don't need echo on our track. You can also increase the treble sounds and the bass sounds. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. So boosting the treble frequencies makes it sound quite bright. As well as adding effects to the vocal, we can also go in and try and neaten it up a bit and take out some of the background noise. To do that, you can trim it like we did before by just taking away some of the empty sounds. You can split areas so that you can get really neat areas and sections. In music technology terms, we would call that regions of your audio that you're going to work with. So I'm just going to split this one. Split, scissors down, and that way I can then go in and take that bit away. Also within your mixing you can add extra effects as well, so let's have a look at some of them. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. So that's what we've got just now. You can add a EQ. So the EQ is your highs and low frequencies. So what we did before with the slider, this is more a visual representation of that. So the bass sound you can boost, mid and treble. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. You can use that just again to warm up your sound. You've also got down here, in the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. So that kind of effect sweep down there might be useful for some of your sound effects. When you pan a track, you're sending it towards the left or right speaker or headphones, or in the middle means it's split equally between the two sides, giving you a stereo sound. To change the panning of our track, we select the track we want to do, so I'm going to do it on the sound effects. We're going to press our faders, and underneath the track volume you've got track pan, and by moving that you're going to be able to change the direction of the sound. So let's try that. So if you find that you've got lots of tracks with lots of different sound effects, it would be quite nice to send some of them to the left and some of them to the right, and it kind of opens up the space of your sound design a bit to make it not sound so crowded and easier to follow. The final bit of editing we're going to look at just now is something called automation, and in automation you can control things like the volume of your track. So to do that, we're going to select a track, automation. The line, the grey line that you see going along the middle, that's where your volume sits. By default, you can change the volume by dragging it up and down. That's louder, quieter. So to do a fade in, there's a little pencil at the top that you slide along. That means you're now writing on the track, so you're telling it what to do. If you click or tap on the line, you get another dot and you can move the volume up. So that should give us a nice fade in. In the light of the moon. It also means that you can do little dips in sound when there's silences as well. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. Our final step we're going to look at before we share our final product is we are going to go onto the faders, and we're also going to click effects. So in the master effects, you can set effects that are going to cover all of your tracks, not just one. So that might be something you want to do to tie it all together. Once you have got your effects done and you think you're finished, you press the page icon at the top. That will appear in your recent files. You long hold your file, share, and you need to share it as a song. It's always good as well to add in a title and composer, which will be your name. You could call it in the album section audiobook or the name of your story.